Hello and welcome to the second episode of Odd Man Rush. I'm Kelin Flanagan, bringing you some quick news and some quick arguments just after the start of our hockey season. So joining us today are Kyle Bishop and Mike Seifeldien. Mike, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a lifelong Oilers fan. I write for Beer League Heroes, and I didn't know that I'd be arguing with such highbrow competition today, but here we are.
All right, why are you highbrow, Kyle?
I dispute that wholeheartedly. There's nothing highbrow about me whatsoever. I am a trash person, so I resent everything you're saying about me.
Well, we are off to a really great start then, arguing from the get-go about how highbrow Kyle is.
It's part of the show, right?
Let me compliment you.
So let's start off with a quick rundown of some of the latest news. So as you may have heard, the Oilers had their season opener last night. Our first game under the youngest captain in NHL history saw the Oilers win 7-4 over the Flames, kicking it off at our brand new Rogers Place. Maroon got the first goal. McDavid got the first goal on a penalty shot. Kachuk on the Flames got the first penalty. And Jesse Puljujarvi was a hot topic in our last episode. He got his first NHL goal also last night. So I was watching the festivities from home, sadly, admiring it all from afar. But it was really nice to see us win our first, even if there's some room for improvement. What did you guys think about the first showing?
Yeah, that's probably the best way I would put it, too. Like, they played well. They hung 7 goals in the Flames, which is never a bad night of the offense. But they gave up the lead a couple times. They got outshot 41-28, which is not good. And they gave up 2 shorthanded goals in less than 2 minutes. So a lot of things to work on, but, they won. So that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree. It was kind of flashes of brilliance mixed with classic Oilers a little bit.
What do you mean by classic Oilers?
Well, we sucked in the second period, as per. I don't know why, but Talbot was a little bit shaky. But then he had some really killer saves too, so I really want him to succeed personally. But it was an Oilers game.
What do you guys think needs to change for our next one?
I don't even know. Where do we begin? The power play is still atrocious. They went 1 for 6. They gave up 2 shorthanded goals. For years, for whatever reason, this has been a sore spot on the team, and I don't know what has to change. They've changed coaches, they've changed personnel, and they still can't figure it out. So I think power play, special teams, penalty kill looked fine last night, but I think power play above anything else is the one thing that needs to change, like immediately.
I was yelling a fair bit at my TV during that part.
Yeah, the power play is not a power play.
No.
They gave up most of their goals while they were on the power play, or at least half. But it was weird. That special teams need to change, and that second period is what really gets me. I don't know if because they're so young they come out really strong in the first, and then they gas themselves for the second, and they recoup for the third, or if there's some other reason. But that's going to be a huge sticking. That's what I'm going to be watching for all year.
Yeah, it's definitely whether they can push back from that. I think we see a lot that they need a good challenge to play against, but I think sometimes they go a little too far in creating that for themselves partway through the game.
But there was some pushback last night, which was good. They gave up the lead a bunch of times, and they didn't full shop and just take their bindle and go home. They pushed back, and they kept coming. So it's nice to see a little resilience finally.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any standout moments or players for you? Did you miss anybody that used to be on our team?
Other than Connor McDavid, standouts, you mean?
Of course.
Zach Kassian came out the gate real hot. He looked really good. I don't know if he's going to be able to sustain an 82 goal, throughout the rest of the year, but he looked good. He looked really good. Lucic still needs to figure out his offensive touch, but I think he looked good for the most part. I don't know if we're going to get full value for that contract the whole time, but he looked good. He looked better than I kind of thought. Adam Larson looked great, which is all you can ask for a guy like that. Chris Russell, look at that guy. 2 assists.
Yeah.
No giveaways, +3.
Yeah.
What a debut.
Absurd. Yeah, it's just, I couldn't believe it. I was going into this game being like, Chris Russell, what a stupid signing. Another 6-7 defenseman we're paying $3 million plus for. And he made me look stupid at least. So that's good.
It's for one game. It's in one game.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
He made most of us look stupid for one game.
If he can keep that up for most of the games this year, I'm happy to look as stupid, in the long run. So.
And we had one more new addition yesterday. So Wayne Gretzky joining the Oilers Entertainment Group's leadership team. Do you guys expect to see anything from that? How do you feel about that?
I hope not, as long as he's in an ambassador role. Well, just because, I mean, his tenure in Arizona did not go well. I guess they were Phoenix at the time. Did not go well. And I mean, the Oilers don't have the greatest track record of hiring former players to come on and man the team. So as long as they keep him within arm's reach for a little bit, maybe have him in an ambassador role for a bit. It's good for the city, good for hockey, good for the Oilers, good for hockey all around. So it's nice to have him back. But let the actual GMs GM for a bit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Let the GMs GM. Yeah, that's it. I agree. It's the same thing. You have your Kevin Lowe's and your Craig McTavishes, and now Gretzky. I mean, obviously the best pedigree of the three, but yeah, I think it's more of a ambassador, figurehead role more than anything. I don't know. I may be wrong, but that's what it kind of looks like. Is he's there to be like Gretzky's back with the Oilers.
Yes. Shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah, that's it.
Connor McDavid. So we all know Chris Versteeg also just turned down the Oilers' offer to go play with the Flames. Saw him out in action as well a bit last night. Was either of you surprised that he decided to go that way rather than signing with us?
Not after hearing about how it all unfolded, because from what it sounds like, Peter Chiarelli told him that, like, look, Jesse PRB's our guy. He's going to be our second-line winger. You might get third-line minutes. You might not play every game, but we'll try to fit you in there. And then he got an offer in Calgary to play with Sean Monahan and Johnny Gaudreau. So, I mean, of course he was going to take that. Thankfully for us, he was very, very quiet last night and didn't hang 3 goals on us like everyone kind of thought he would.
I was expecting that.
Absolutely,
yeah,
me too. I was
absolutely.
thinking worst-case scenario. But, I mean, my whole thing with the Versteeg thing is, like, yeah, he wasn't going to ever, drag the team into the playoffs. He wasn't going to be that big of a piece. But it was a depth signing for a winger that has experience, who put up 38 points last year. And once again, the Oilers just let him walk away. He was right there, and they let him walk down the highway to Calgary. So that to me was the biggest thing about the Versteeg PTO.
Yeah, I don't know how they were going to use him in a way that Calgary wouldn't have been able to use him more. Because I think the money ends up being the same.
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
making
even
just
if they-
under $1 million. Or something, right?
even if Edmonton would offer him 1.5, that's still a very reasonable sign.
Totally. Just for the fact that he's got 2 Stanley Cup rings, he's seen it all. He's a 10-year veteran. It's it would have been nice, but it's Oilers gonna Oiler.
Yeah.
Oilers gonna
They
Oiler.
got to make room for those rookies. You got to give
That's
them
right.
at some point.
Yeah.
And now we also saw Davidson leave with an injury last night. Now it hears
Of
say
course.
he is injured and out right now. Thankfully, we have Gryba. So what do you guys think? Who should be replacing Davidson
I
for the
think
near
that's
future?
the first time anyone's ever said, thankfully, we have Gryba. I like Eric Gryba. I mean, I was actually surprised that they didn't just sign him on the spot when his contract lasts. I don't know why
Yeah.
they gave him a PTO. Like, I think he did a fine job in the number 6-7 role last year. So
Yeah.
I don't know what was stopping them from bringing him back again this year. But yeah, you are right, though. Thankfully, they do have Eric Gryba there. They still got Mark Fane waiting in the wings,
Yeah.
who,
And
had
Benning.
And Benning.
Benning,
Yeah.
who had a great camp. Like, I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised he didn't make the team at a camp. But hey, he's young, and they put him in the AHL. What a weird concept, right? But yeah, I mean, they got Mark Fane in the wings too, who didn't have the greatest year, but he's also an option as a bottom pairing. But of course, Davidson had to get hurt. Why wouldn't he? He's had so much bad luck. I mean, aside from the whole making the NHL thing, but other than that, he's had like such bad luck with injuries. That,
And the
like,
beating testicular cancer.
I mean, that was a
thing,
pretty. Yeah, if you want to look at that, then I guess. But he came. He was looking so good, looking to make
Yeah.
such good strides, and of course, he gets hurt in the first game from a Flame rookie.
Yeah, no, I was so angry at that play. What a dirty play.
Chuck already
Chuck.
public enemy number 1 in Edmonton. He's played 1 game in the NHL.
I know, and I'm done with him already.
He must be doing something right, I guess.
Done.
Just done. Yeah, he was looking so good last night, Davidson. I wrote in my article last night that he, from what I saw, single-handedly stopped 3 goals. He got his skate in the way or his stick in the way, or he got his body in the way. He was super effective. Just every time he's on the ice, he's effective.
Absolutely.
And you never worry about him. When you see 88, it's like, okay, this shift is going to be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a real bummer. But I like Gryba too. He'll punch some
He
people.
should be fine,
He'll
yeah.
be fine. Yeah.
Should be fine. So just before we move on, flipping to the other side of the continent, and Austin Matthews' debut with the Leafs last night.
Oh, did he? I didn't hear.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, in case you hadn't heard,
Fill me in, yeah.
he did do, okay, the Leafs
Okay,
still
all right.
lost, but he did score 4 goals in his wonderful, wonderful NHL debut. Did you guys catch any of that game? Any thoughts on
Absolutely.
Matthews?
I mean, what can you say? 4 goals in your first game, and he looked like unstoppable out there. Like
Yeah.
he just grabbed that game and just like put it on his back and was like, "It's mine now." But in true Leaf fashion, they had to go lose the game anyway. So
That's it.
I think that's going to be kind of the Leafs in a nutshell this year. They got a lot of good, really fun to watch young players who are going to score a lot of goals. Then they got the rest of the Leafs, who are bad, and especially Frederick Anderson. So I think they're going to lose a lot of games this year. They're very reminiscent to me of the Oilers of, even just recent past, but, a couple years ago, where a lot of good high-end young talent, virtually no defense, virtually no goaltending. So they're not going to win a lot of games this year.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier about how Matthews is kind of, in the interview after the game where he immediately took responsibility for the play that led to the loss, I was like, this kid he's their McDavid instantly.
He's ready.
Yeah.
And he's just so poised out there. None of the goals that he scored were particularly flashy or wild.
That second goal, he danced
the second
through
goal
about
was
6 guys.
cool. That was cool.
Including Eric Carlson.
Yeah.
He walked Eric Carlson.
You're right.
But you're right.
You're
The
right.
first one was a tap in. The second one, or the fourth one, was just a 2-on-1. It was just easy.
Yeah, the other one he was open in front, and it was like, but he didn't waste the opportunity. He made it stick, and he was just cool about it. And he's going to be real fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think his maturity was definitely one of the things that really impressed me in that interview after.
For sure.
And I mean, I think the comparison to McDavid's great because you see that's the kind of thing that lands him the captaincy this year. So I'm really excited to see where he goes. All right, so thanks, folks. That's it for our news. And now we'll move on to the shootout. All right, here's the second edition of the shootout where we see which of our guests can nail down the win. So last time, Avery and Allie found themselves on the opposing sides with a hypothetical World Cup, some Stanley Cup finalist predictions, and Phil Kessel's tweet. You voted on Twitter at the Oilers Rig, and somehow Phil Kessel won without even being here. So Mike and Kyle, time to see if either of you can beat an absent hockey player. Here's our rules refresher.
I just want to beat Avery. That's all I want.
Okay, we'll put Avery on the poll too. So I will ask a question. You will each get 15 seconds to state your opening arguments. When you hear the sound of a cowbell,
Jesus.
stop talking. Next, you'll get 30 seconds of free-for-all debate. You can yell over each other, throw chairs, do whatever you want, but don't actually throw chairs. And again, stop when you hear the cowbell. Your last 10 seconds will be for your final statement. So you'll get the last-ditch try to convince people on Twitter that you're better than Phil Kessel or Avery. And if you can pander to that mystery audience predicted in your head, go for it. Ready to go?
Absolutely. Born ready.
All right. So our first question is, give this Oilers offseason a letter grade and defend your answer. Kyle, we'll have you go first with 15 seconds.
I give it a C+. They still have no depth. They have no defenseman to run the power play. They have no defense to put up tons of points on the board, depending on how Clefbaum does this year. They gave up their second best scorer, or arguably their best player of the last 6 years, and didn't get a lot back for him. Wasn't a banner year.
That is your cue, Mike.
I'd give it a B+, and I think that's because, we gave up our second best scorer, but we got a strong defenseman. We freed up the money to sign a big goon in Lucic, who's going to put up a reasonable amount of points anyway. I was done anyway.
So 30 seconds, go at it.
What I was going to say, Gustafsson is not good.
Bad, terrible.
But he's going to be just good enough to probably not lose most games that he's in. And he's going to provide a good benchmark for Brossoit to actually take that spot.
But if he plays 15 games and he loses 8 of them, that's not ideal. I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
They got two rookies in the lineup. Kajula didn't make it because he was hurt, but they got 18-year-old Jesse Piarvi who's not ready. They got Kajula who's probably not ready in the lineup. That's a lot of holes in the roster still. They're rolling the dice a lot on a lot of things as they always do.
Okay, so wrap up. Kyle, C+.
C+. Hard C+.
And Mike.
Medium B+.
A medium B+. What is a medium B+?
I was going to say B, but then when he said C+, I was like, I got to make it a little bit further ahead. C+ and B, who cares?
All right, question 2. Which former Oiler is going to benefit more from his relocation? Taylor Hall or Nail Yakupov? Mike, we'll have you start this time, 15 seconds.
I think Yakupov, because Yakupov was actually excited to get out of here and wanting to prove himself. Hall is still a little bit salty, I think. And that's going to affect his play in New Jersey this year, I think. He's not going to be he's not going to be on the ball, I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised, at least.
That's great. Okay, Kyle.
It's going to look like Taylor Hall had the better year. Everyone's going to be like, wow, where did this guy come from? He's going to go on a 10-game scoring streak, and everyone in the East is going to be like, wow, he just needed to change the scenery. He was great for the Oilers. He would have been great anywhere. So he's going to be the same, but it's going to look like he's having a way better season just because he's got that Oilers stink off of him now that he used to have.
All right, guys, fight it out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know if I can
Piggybacking on your point, Yakupov's is playing for a good team. He's one of the best coaches in recent NHL history, using him well. He's going to be playing 8 to 10 minutes a night rather than all over the lineup. I think Yak found a good landing spot in St. Louis.
Yeah, I just want him to be happy. With Taylor Hall, I don't think he doesn't have the people surrounding him that he did in Edmonton, at least offensively, so he's going to be carrying the team.
Him and Henrique worked really well in Windsor.
There's that too, yeah, but that's it, really. I mean, Paul Mary to an extent. But...
All right, closing statements, Mike.
About the whole thing?
About the whole thing. Have you changed your mind after this one?
No, we're not that far off on anything, really, so. But yes, I feel extra strong in my convictions now.
Taylor Hall's a great player. Kyle Palmieri is very underrated. Adam Henrique is very underrated. They're going to be a fearsome combo. They got P.A. Peranto in there now. Taylor Hall's getting 80 points this year easily.
All right, and our last question, question 3 in the shootout. What is the top thing standing in the way of the Oilers and their playoff run this year? Kyle, 15 seconds.
All the teams in front of them. Good luck getting past the 3 California teams, let alone anybody from the Central. You want to face Nashville or Minnesota or Winnipeg or Chicago or St. Louis. I mean, take your pick. The Oilers are not going to pass 7 or 8 teams that get to the playoffs this year.
Good timing.
Yeah, I think the fact that we have still no depth. We're one McDavid injury away, we're one Clefbaum injury away. If Luch gets injured, there goes our grit. We're not deep enough to make up for injuries.
All right, go ahead. Why is depth worse than other teams?
I mean, he spelled it out pretty well
worse.
there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, no one's going to care if we're not San Jose this year.
They kind of go hand in hand, though. We have no depth, so if anyone gets hurt, then there's no one there to take their place. And then that puts us even further behind the 8 ball trying to pass good teams that actually do have depth, that have made the playoffs in the last 20 years. Yeah. So it's a bad mix. It's just a bad combo all around, I think.
Yeah. Which is a shame because we have on paper at least, such a solid squad.
Better squad
now.
than last year, for sure. I would say so.
It's almost a playoff team.
Closing statements. Go ahead, Kyle.
I don't know. No playoff hockey this year. Canada, bringing back the record back to Canada. Sorry, Florida. This is Oilers. The Oilers are the playoff masters of not making it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It might be close. If we do stay healthy, it might be like, maybe we're almost in a wild card contention, But next year it'll be the year. Seriously, this time.
Seriously.
Yeah.
For realsies.
All right, folks. Well, that's it for our shootout round. A very cordial shootout, given the knowledge of our 2 guests here, and I'm saddened that they seem to agree that we're not going to be making the playoffs. No surprising change of opinion there. So viewers, vote for your winner on Twitter at the Oilers Rig. If you want to see some guests fight over your question, comment, tweet us at the Oilers Rig, or find us on Facebook. We're always here listening. Let us know what you want to see more or less of, and we will bring it around. I'm Kelin Flanagan, coming to you almost live with Odd Man Rush, and we'll see you around at theoilersrig.com.